Hello everyone, welcome back to Black Moon Coven. So today's video is going to be about how to find or pave your path. So there are already a bunch of videos on, how to begin in witchcraft, and I have my own as well. So go check that out if you haven't done so. But what is the next step? I mean, after you do a bunch of research and everything else, what is the next step? How do you find your footing? How do you become comfortable being a witch? So, obviously the first step is research, but next, you don't want to get stuck in this occult-like phase. By that, I mean, you don't want to be reading books for years and years and years, like I did, okay? I was guilty of this. Before I started to actually practice witchcraft about 10 years ago, I read and read and read and read so much. But I was stuck in this occult phase, stuck in this almost scared and nervousness to practice just because of all the things I was reading. It was kind of like you had to do all this research, but at the same time, it was making me afraid to practice. And I see that a lot in young witches. So what I mean by all of this is that you have to separate from reading so much to actually practicing and balance it out. Okay, you're not going to be able to find what works for you and what doesn't, which is actually how you find your path if you don't start to practice witchcraft. So read to your heart's content, that's totally fine, but you make sure that you start practicing witchcraft at some point. Start with small little things, casting circles, if you cast circles, do small little things like that. Tea magic, coffee magic, meditation, small little things just to get your foot in the door, just so you can stop being so afraid of practicing. So don't be stuck in the occult phase is basically what I mean. The next part is sorting out the information that you have learned. So now that you have read all of these books, years and years of book reading or article reading or video watching, now what do you do? What do you do with all this information, all these notebooks of information? Maybe you have a couple books of shadows. What do? So now you sift out the information that works for you and what doesn't. And that's why I put so much emphasis on actually practicing witchcraft. So you don't have to, from day one, start practicing witchcraft, like right away start casting a spell. That's not what I mean. But what I do mean is start practicing when you are comfortable and start sorting out information that doesn't work for you. So I learned early on that casting circles doesn't really work for me, I get it. I know why it's done and all of that stuff. It just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my practice, doesn't connect to me. And that's totally fine. That's what you want to do as a witch. So if you find something like, for examples, I don't use crystals that much. It's just something I don't really connect to. I use more natural objects, and that's totally fine as well. That kind of led me down a different path. So you see what I'm saying with this. You want to sift out information that doesn't work for you or you find no use for. So maybe you're not into astrology all that much. That's fine. Pick up palmistry. Maybe you're not into that. That's totally fine. Pick up the tarot. There are different things that you can be doing, sifting out that information so you can start paving that path, so you can lay down the stones in your path the way you want to go down. And that will lead you to the path that you want to go to. Next is practice and advancement. Obviously, practice. You have to practice witchcraft to be a witch. Then you are advancing. So don't get stuck practicing the same old spells, the same old thing, the same old method. Try something new once in a while, especially on the new moon. Maybe if you've done poppet magic for a whole year now and you can't stand to make another poppet, try a new method. Try a burning spell or try a banishing spells or anything else. Just try a new different method just so you can advance in your magic. Maybe try incorporating something in there as well, like incorporating sigils or amulets or talismans or different things. So just start practicing and advancing as well. And that will lead you down, again, to paving different ways into your path. So for all the baby witches, I know I've said this before, don't label yourself just yet. you know, until you are at a point where you can, you know, pave your own path, or you can decide what you want to do with witchcraft, or if you want to do witchcraft at all. It's not for everyone. Everyone can do witchcraft, but the ones that stick with it, you know, there's only a fair number. So just keep that in mind. Don't label yourself right at the beginning. Just call yourself a witch for now. And, you know, just know that this is your path. You know, you are the only guide. You are paving that path, and sometimes there might be obstacles in the way. Sometimes there might be a whole, you know, forest that you have to cut down before you get to the right answer, and that's totally fine. Witchcraft is a journey of enlightenment from within. So it's about learning about yourself, about nature, about balance, and all these beautiful things. So really just take your time, study, and see what works for you, and develop your own practice your own way. Each witch is different. No witch is the same, and no practice is the same. So just like, no practice is the same. Basically what I'm saying. So yeah, that's just a little video about paving your path. And hopefully this helped someone who needed to hear it today. I felt like I needed to make this video. So yeah, follow me on all of my social media, and especially subscribe to the Coven if you haven't done so already. And until next time, I will see you guys.